Live from downtown Detroit. Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Canadian police shoot and kill a man that they say was an ISIS supporter. Now at noon, we'll tell you how investigators put a stop to a potential terror attack. But first, Donald Trump, now Hillary Clinton, is in Michigan and will speak at an event in Warren talking jobs and her plan for the economy.
Good Thursday afternoon, everybody. 90s, closer to triple digits when you factor in the humidity, and it's creating some showers and storms, some relief with the heat.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Evrod Cassimy. We start now at noon with breaking news. The westbound lanes of I-94 at Fred Moore Highway are back open after a semi-truck fire this morning. Lanes were closed temporarily while those flames were being put out by officials, and thankfully no injuries were reported. But again, westbound I-94 back open. Now turning our attention to the forecast, meteorologist Brandon Roos standing by. Yesterday was really hot, was really humid. We do need a little bit of rain though. What can we expect today?
A little bit of rain, at least a little bit of rain. Our temperature just went down a little bit at Metro with a shower there, but look at City Airport already at 90 degrees, Flint near 90 degrees, and areas that have been getting a little splash and dash action are a little bit cooler, but the feels like temperatures a good 5 degrees or more warmer than the air temperature, and that's part of the problem. Feels like 98, almost triple digits at City Airport on the east side. Feels like 96 down in Monroe right now. This is the temperature and the humidity combined for that heat index. And we have an ozone action day today from the heat, humidity, and some of the stagnant air pollution in our surface environment here. And that means we're going to have trouble breathing in some spots. And for some of those of you who have respiratory conditions, heart conditions. So very warm and humid, scattered showers and storms. Here's a look at what we're seeing downriver. A couple of showers here coming into the Trenton area, also southern Ontario. As I turn around, Chatham-Kent area getting some rain. And the wider view shows a few more here coming up through Lapeer County, a little lightning strike just north of Port Huron in the Lexington area. More where that came from. So yes, Evrod, a little relief in the form of rain, and we'll take a closer look coming up.
All right, Brandon, thank you. In Decision 2016 now, in about an hour at 1 p.m., Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton is going to be speaking at an event at the Futuramic Tool and Engineering plant over in Warren. That's where we find our Paula Tutman, who's joining us live now this afternoon. And Paula, we know that Clinton is going to talk jobs and the economy.
Yeah, she is, but not before going past a few protesters first. Let's go upstairs. Let's show you some video that Chopper 4 shot just a little while ago. We're being told about 30 protesters outside, and I don't know if you can say that they're protesters so much as they were Trump supporters, holding up signs, chanting as people were coming in. But I got to tell you, this is basically Democratic territory. We're talking about north of 59, might be heavily Republican, south of 59, very much a Democratic stronghold, independents mix all the way in between. Let's talk a little bit about where we are, Futuramic in Warren. Now keep in mind, Warren, first of all of Macomb County, we're talking about an area that is geared for manufacturing. This is right in Hillary Clinton's wheelhouse. About 2,600 businesses geared toward manufacturing, 66,000 manufacturing jobs. But Futuramic in particular really does fit into many of the things that she's going to be talking about in her 100 Days Job Program. Ben Bailey actually did a story, a profile on Futuramic in March. Let's go to that video right now. We're talking about people who have retooled. Before, in 1955, they started off doing automotive manufacturing, I should say. They've now switched over to aerospace and aeronautic engineering. They're even working on a program, Macomb to Mars, and they're making components that are actually going to be part of Mars, or the planet of Mars exploration in the future. They've got about 279 employees. Many of them will be here in this hall today. So let's talk about this jobs program. I do want you to go to a screen right now. These are the things that Hillary Clinton is going to be talking about. We're talking about 5 prongs of her 100 Days Jobs Program: rebuilding infrastructure, revitalizing manufacturing. Okay, well, Futuramics, that's part of that. Helping small businesses, clean energy investments, and of course, supporting research and technology. That's also very, very big. This is largely going to be a very supportive crowd. It is a private crowd. With me is State Representative Sherry Gay Danyogo, not Nyogo, but Danyogo. And you're very, very excited about this.
You know, I'm very excited to be a part of making history for Hillary for president. I'm excited not only as a legislator, but as a daughter, as a mom. I know that Hillary is going to be the type of president that truly makes us stronger together. We're here at Futuronomics, and they're making these parts that can be used out of space. I'm a former science teacher. How exciting is that? But Hillary is the type of president that is not going to look out just for the wealthy, like her opponent losing 3 to 4 million jobs. That's what his plan would do. But her plan is going to retool America and make sure that people are put back to work. She's going to be the president that is not just a Democratic president, but she's a president now that's going to yield to all people across this country that believe in the working class.
Now, we showed some video when we first came on. There were protesters or Donald Trump supporters out there. You said you saw a different sign coming in.
I saw a different sign coming in. I saw Republicans for Hillary, and I actually posted a picture of that on my page a little while ago. So I know that people who need to get back to work. Michigan has been hit. We don't live in a bubble. We don't live on Fifth Avenue in New York and knowing all of the things that's taken place where the wealthy have gotten tax breaks and cuts, and that's what her opponent would do. We know she's retooling America so that we're stronger together. Jobs.
Thank you very much, State Representative. And I was talking about how this is really this area in particular is very, very complex in that you've got Republicans to the north, Democrats to the south, and Macomb County, in fact, is the home of the Reagan Democrat. Representative Danyogo was saying that it's also going to become really the stronghold of the belly for the Clinton Republican. Now, Rod here, who is from maybe Michigan, and you are a Democrat, and you say you are supporting Hillary, and let's talk about why. Because the only T in the room is not Trump, it is trust, and you say you don't have trust issues.
Not at all. How could you not want your commander-in-chief to be a person who really cares about people and social programs and has dedicated her entire life to civic programs?
What do you want to hear today? So you are a supporter. So you're here to support. You're not necessarily here to make any more judgments. Your mind is made up.
Oh, absolutely. Whatever she has to say, I'm behind her. Who wouldn't want to have a person like her taking care of America?
You know what's so interesting is, thank you very much to both of you, Rod as well as Representative.
Absolutely.
Really do appreciate you guys being here. You know, this is, guys, before I close, this is pivotal. You know, Michigan, is it delegate rich? Well, yeah, it is. It's got 16 electoral votes. It is one of these battleground states. Hillary Clinton has been climbing in our polls. She still is struggling in Georgia.
11 points and moving.
11 points and moving.
Yes.
She's still struggling in Missouri and Georgia. In fact, she's starting to inch up in Georgia a bit, but also winning Pennsylvania. But this is still one of those states that really could go either way. And so you can expect for her to come here, particularly when she's talking about these 100-day jobs programs, because this is the belly of her message. We're talking about a state that put, you know, the country and the world on wheels, and no pun intended, but this really could be her wheelhouse. Guys, back to you, or I should say Evrod, back to you.
All righty, Paul, and of course you can watch her speak live on our website. Just go to clickondetroit.com at 1 o'clock. Another controversy for Donald Trump this afternoon after he labeled President Obama the founder of ISIS. The Republican presidential nominee is also on defense for his remarks suggesting gun rights advocates could act against Hillary Clinton. Trump is now saying that he was not inciting violence as Clinton responds to the controversial comments herself.
You look at the power they have in terms of votes, and that's what I was referring to, obviously.
That Donald Trump simply does not have the temperament to be president and commander-in-chief.
Now, Hillary Clinton herself is under fire after an email leak from a conservative group has critics questioning whether donations to the Clinton Foundation bought access to her State Department. And now to a developing story that happened just 2 hours away from Detroit. Police shot and killed an ISIS supporter, stopping a potential terror attack. This happened Wednesday in the city of Strathroy, Ontario. And our Lauren Podell has details on how police moved in on the suspect.
Now, this investigation certainly does hit close to home. The town of Strathroy, Ontario, only 45 minutes east of the Blue Water Bridge. Now, Canadian police, they were focused in on a neighborhood in that town, hoping they could stop this man before he took one of those bombs into a more public place.
This was the scene 2 hours from Detroit in Strathroy, Ontario, where Canadian police shot and killed an ISIS supporter as he attempted a terror attack. Police say 24-year-old Aaron Driver detonated a device, injuring himself and another person. That's when police shot him before he could detonate the second device he was carrying. Investigators report that Driver has been on their radar since 2014 as a known ISIS supporter after he posted his support for the terror group on social media. In fact, Driver was arrested in Winnipeg last year and agreed to the conditions of a peace bond, which means Driver was acknowledging that there were reasonable grounds to fear he may participate or contribute in the activity of a terrorist group.
And under that arrangement, Driver had regular court appearances and was under police surveillance. One of the reasons why police in Canada were able to hone in on his actions. Right now, the investigation is still underway as to whether or not Driver acted alone. Lauren Podell, Local 4.
The search continues this afternoon for the man spotted at a Warren apartment where a grandmother was beaten to death. 62-year-old Donna Lawrence was found dead inside of her apartment on Shana Road between 13 Mile and Masonic Boulevard yesterday morning. Neighbors say that shortly before the discovery, they saw a man wearing a red t-shirt and khaki shorts knocking on her window and door, yelling her name. Now police are searching for a stolen blue Daewoo station wagon with a license plate that reads DAC 5379. If you believe that you've seen this car or have any information, you're asked to call Warren Police. And now today, researchers from Virginia Tech announced their test results in connection to the Flint water crisis. Exactly a year ago, Virginia Tech professor Mark Edwards led a research team to collect water samples from the city and found high levels of lead contamination. This afternoon, the team released what looks to be good news for families in Flint.
As of July 2016, we found that the 90th percentile lead level was 13.9, below the EPA action level. So we're seeing a reduction in lead in drinking water.
Our Hank Winchester is going to have a complete look at all of those results and what it means for Flint. That's tonight on Local 4 News at 5 o'clock. Metro Detroiters are a bit on edge this afternoon after a restaurant worker was diagnosed with hepatitis. An employee at Social Kitchen and Bar in Birmingham has been diagnosed with hepatitis A. Anyone who ate or drank at the restaurant between July 16th and August 6th might have been exposed to the virus. The health department is asking and advising anyone who visited the restaurant to contact their doctor if you were there during those specific dates. Some symptoms include stomach discomfort, dark urine, and a fever. All right, coming up here on Local 4 News at noon on clickondetroit.com, popular retailer Macy's just announced it's closing a lot of its stores. We'll tell you how many and why. That's all coming up. But first, a shooting between a homeowner and police is now just being called a mix-up. We'll have details after the break.
Earlier.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk the forecast now, the hot forecast, and when we can expect some precipitation.
Yes, well, some areas are already getting it, but it's not a big widespread deal, and tomorrow will be a lot like this. So, unfortunately, Efrat, I don't have the golden ticket or answer for the needs of your grass and garden, but at least we're getting some. And right now here, the noon report on Thursday out of Detroit Metro Airport is a little bit of rain in the area and some rain-cooled air at 84. The humidity is up there. It's about double what it was yesterday at this time, and it feels like 91 even with the rain-cooled air. So some spots that haven't gotten the rain, look at 98, the feels-like temperature out at City Airport on the east side. 95 is what it feels like right now at Port Huron. 96, the heat index number in Flint, and Ann Arbor at 94. Monroe feels like 96. Air quality alerts, ozone action day, second day in a row. And again, it doesn't include every county, but even those excluded like Genesee, Lapeer, Sanilac, and Lenawee counties, you're all in the same mix here where we have a problem with the heating and the pollution here at the surface. It combines to create this nasty chemical reaction called ozone, and it just makes things really difficult on those, especially with respiratory and heart conditions. So you want to limit your outdoor activity and limit your gas usage, meaning limit your driving. Don't top off the gas tank if you don't have to. You get out of the mowing for today, and grilling with charcoal and lighter fluid, that's just extra pollutants that adds to the problem. So carpool, limit your fuel use, and limit your outdoor activity. 4-zone forecast. Let's start with Metro, and as we showed you with the heat index numbers, that's a combination of heat and humidity. These are just air temperatures in the low 90s in our Metro zone. 92 Southfield today, 92 Trenton for a high, 92 in Warren. You can add a good 5 to 8 degrees on top of that with this soupy, sticky environment that we are in. Our south zone has maybe a degree or two warmer. Luna Pier 93, Dundee 93 over in the Adrian Morency Olmsted area. And as we look out to the west in our west zone, very similar stuff in areas along and south of, we'll say 96, M14, and then as you head north, maybe a touch cooler, but still into the 90s everywhere. A few exceptions also in our north zone, where upper 80s and low 90s will feel like mid to upper 90s today, and that is dangerous heat. Here's a look at the radar at about 12:20. We've got some showers coming right through the downtown area here. Also downriver, down into Monroe County, over into southern Ontario and the Chatham-Kent area. Big area of low pressure. This is the center of the storm, but ahead of that cold front and storm center, we have these showers firing. A lot of this is down to the south, and we're tapping into tropical moisture from the deep south, which is why it feels so terribly sticky, and some monsoon moisture from remnants of an old hurricane that was flooding the desert southwest also coming into play as we head into tomorrow. So we have options here, or chances. Here's a look by 4 or 5 o'clock. We start to see some of these heat-induced showers still in the area, but pulling out by 6, 7 o'clock tonight, hopefully, to not impact the evening drive so much. But tomorrow afternoon, we're right back at it. And look at some of these dark yellows and oranges. These could be some super soakers of showers, both on Friday afternoon, evening, and here on Saturday morning. No all-day soakers today, tomorrow, or Saturday, but we have chances for some decent gully washers. We're sticky and stormy for the next 3 days. We get some relief by Sunday from the heat and humidity, and boy, could we use the rain, Evrod, about 5 inches behind where we should be in the rain bucket. And again, no guarantees with these showers, but some folks will get a healthy amount over the next 48 to 72 hours.
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. The failed trace of a 911 call in New Jersey ends up with state troopers mistakenly shooting a man 3 times. 76-year-old Gerald Sykes was at his home in New Jersey when he noticed people on his front porch, and he mistook the troopers for intruders and pulled a shotgun on the men. That's when gunfire broke out, leaving Sykes with 3 gunshot wounds. He is now recovering in the hospital and has since hired a private investigator to prove that the troopers shot first. Another big shakeup for Macy's, as the company is planning to close almost 100 of its stores. The closures are part of a series of strategic changes for Macy's as the company looks to build towards the future. Along with the store closures, the company plans to bring in more brands to its remaining stores, improve its online search and ordering to make it easier for customers, as well as host more in-store events and sales to drive up foot traffic. Well, we are now on to day 6 of the Olympic Games, so let's take a look at the updated medal count. The U.S. still at the top of the leaderboard, where we should be, with 32 total medals, 11 of which are gold. China pretty close behind in second place with 23 total medals and 10 gold medals, while Russia, Japan, and Australia are rounding out the top 5. Now let's look at some of the highlights from the big events that are coming up today. Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte are going to compete in the men's 200-meter individual medley. And on the women's side of things, Katie Ledecky goes for gold in the 800-meter freestyle. And then on the mat, Simone Biles and Allie Raceman are going to be going head-to-head for gold in the women's all-around. That's tonight, of course, right here only on Local 4. And we also want to remind you to join us later tonight for the Olympic Zone, where every night of the Olympics, Monday through Saturday at 7:30 p.m., we highlight local Olympians and the big events of the day. Again, that's 7:30 right here on Local 4. So a lot of fun to be had as you stay up later and later every single night watching the Olympics.
And not to confuse the ozone with the Ozone Action Day.
Right.
Completely different.
Either way, have a great day, everybody. We hope you stay warm, stay dry in some areas, and we'll see you tomorrow.